Welcome back, everyone. My name is Julius, and I am here, your conductor on this journey, your chaperone, as it were, towards the Snyder Cut. I am here with a very special guest. As you guys know, I've been lucky enough to talk to a bunch of different people about a bunch of different DCEU films. And this person, I know a little bit. We've talked a little bit before. You've actually talked to my co-host, Angel, in the past on a podcast, which is on our YouTube channel still after years and years and years of being there. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to me. What do you mean? No,
Remind me.
Yes, Ben from Blockbuster Mentality. Thanks for having me on, man. You guys actually, not Julius, Angel and Daniel, they were my first guests ever on Blockbuster Mentality. So that's history right there. History. So
that's legacy.
I know, man. It's crazy how things work out. And tried to keep in touch. And glad we're doing something again. And this time, I get to talk to Julius.
Talk to me, the real, the brains behind the, come on, Angel's exactly. Like the Paul McCartney. It's cool. He's the face. He wrote Yesterday, but we all know where John, what he did.
He's the one trying to go viral all the time, Mr. Reaction to the Batman trailer.
Trying.
He is, yes. He's not only trying, he is succeeding. So kudos to him.
He's famous.
Yeah, I know, man. That's crazy. It's he's been on like news articles and stuff. Hey, good on him, man.
Oh man. So Benjamin, before we get into the main topic, obviously, when these videos come out, it will only be days until Zack Snyder's Justice League is released. So I'd like you to establish for our listeners how you feel about this, very quickly, what you felt about the movie we got, Justice League 2017, and the Snyder Cut, whether you're excited or not for it.
I don't know if we're supposed to be championing these films and the DC universe, so apologies if I'm not as a cheerleader like I should be, but Justice League, I mean, the first one, when it initially came out, to me, it was just a hot mess, right. But obviously there was a lot of production issues, which I'm sure you've talked about in this series plenty of times. I was definitely excited to see what Zack Snyder had in store and what he does have in store. But the runtime concerns me a little. I think what they say, like almost 4 hours or
4
something.
4 hours, yeah.
Yeah, that's that to me is a little bit of, is it going to be too much stuffed in there? Like, because I enjoyed the his cut of Batman v Superman. Right. That actually made things make more sense in that movie, and it actually for me it lifted that movie. But this one with 4 hours, I mean, that's worrisome to me.
Well, it's definitely like an investment of that day, right? You're definitely, right. I have to make plans to make time for a movie that I'm not sure how I'm gonna react to it, and it's 4 hours on top of that.
Exactly. And on top of that, for me, I'm going to have to rewatch Justice League because I only saw it one time in the theaters. So I have the pain of having to go through that again in order to really judge the Snyder Cut. So,
right.
I'll probably watch that in pieces before it comes out. So,
well, in pieces. Yeah. I'm curious. Do you think that is, and I'm not coming at you aggressively, I'm actually curious whether that will be and is a fair comparison, because I already know people have been comparing for years, holding up what Zack Snyder has done as already a masterpiece and the movie we got as just an abhorrent disaster. And they seem to be very different films. Obviously, one was stitched together and the other is the actual original vision. Do you think it will be a fair comparison?
Are you talking about Batman v Superman
Oh,
or?
I'm talking about Justice League 2017
Okay.
versus
Yeah.
the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because I mean, you have two, essentially two filmmakers in the sandbox in the first one. So,
Mhm.
I think it is. Whether or not I think it is in the way of kind of comparing what Joss Whedon did to what Zach did.
Right.
We're on a first name basis, me and Zach, obviously. So I think it's fair. I mean, it's human nature. I mean, people are gonna compare it.
Right.
It's not. It's it can't be avoided. If it comes out and it's still a mess, it's hey, uh, they hyped it up, that's for sure. I mean, when it was announced, man, people were so excited. I was excited because I again, I've even the first cut be Superman, or the theatrical cut,
Mhm.
I stood up for it,
Yeah.
more than most people. I saw its problems, but yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean,
Heathen, you must die.
yeah, but for me, I mean, to be honest, I think DC has just been a mess this whole time. I mean, just because, I mean, production wise, I mean, just like changing producers, all this, the whole Ben Affleck Batman thing,
Now, kind of
that,
Henry Cavill.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And now,
yeah.
yeah, so it's like I don't know what to invest in, like emotionally, or
Right.
just what story I should do. Like at this point, I feel like there should just be movies, one-offs, like Joker, like they do.
Yeah.
Let's do a Riddler movie now. Let's do a Two-Face movie. Just things like that.
Lex Luthor film. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't just have to be Batman villains, but yeah. I mean, I wish they would get together, because I'm not like a Marvel DC versus DC. I like them both. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, I don't think there's any denying that Marvel Studios has done it better movie wise, in trying to create a franchise. I think DC should just kind of do its own thing and not try to follow what Marvel has done. And this has been talked about,
Oh
to
yeah.
death. So
Yeah.
sorry to bore you there, but
Oh no, not at all.
not at all, as I doze off here. But I mean, and I'm sorry. I know, obviously, this is to hype up, Justice League. Looking forward to it coming
No,
out.
it's about being honest about the journey, and
Yes.
I wouldn't want you on if you were just gonna kiss ass,
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad.
Right. So when I asked you to come on, I told you about the film that we would be talking about today, and you said, you responded with, "Is there any other one we could talk about?" Which I think is fair.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I take that to mean that Birds of Prey isn't a DC EU movie that immediately excites you.
Right. Correct.
Right.
But to be fair to Birds of Prey,
Right.
I was just seeing if, is there another one, because there are movies I like better. If there's another one,
Right.
that I like better, great. If not, no big deal. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice. And I like how you got me to agree to come on the show before telling me which movie it was. That was a good strategy. Very, very, very well done.
Well, that's why we're GOAT.
Yeah, that's right. You know how to do it, man.
Well, when it comes to this, because we're talking about Birds of Prey today, and the reason why I think it's important to talk about through this whole series, we've been very excited about each film we talked about, but we've also been very honest in our criticism, because I feel like criticism is what leads to a better product at the end of the day. And I think with Birds of Prey, it got a lot of criticism, and when it came out, I feel like a lot of it was filtered by things outside of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously the feminist angle, there's the woke angle that people bring into it, where it really shrouds the judgment that people have upon the film. How do you feel about that? Did you go into the film with any sort of bias, or were you just going in saying, hey man, look, it's a comic book movie. I want it to be good.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, that's the latter. I mean, that's definitely what I went into. I didn't, have any when it comes to movies, I try to, keep my expectations at a level,
Mhm.
level space, and just go into it hoping for a good movie. I don't watch a movie hoping it's bad. I don't watch a movie well, sometimes I'll expect that it's not as good as it ended up being, but I don't
Right.
go into it, thinking it'll be bad. I'm watching it out of interest, and it's just something that, yeah, I'm interested in. But yeah, I mean, the whole, the social stigma around it or anything like that didn't affect my view of the movie. I just wanted to see something that was entertaining. Obviously, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. I mean,
Mhm.
everything that's been said about her has already been said. It's you can't really say too much more. I mean, she adds just so much to the character and everything, so I was
Mhm.
excited to see her at it again. She was the standout of Suicide Squad, obviously. So what I think hurt this movie was the title, actually. I mean, I think
Ooh.
that and I'm sorry if you're going to get to that, but I know there was title issues. I think, yeah, it should have just straight up been called Harley Quinn
Uh,
like Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. Wasn't that what it was called? I forget.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
So is that that's the title now, right? Or is that what it was first?
This is, I believe this is what it, I know it was announced, we're making a Birds of Prey film, right? That's what
Okay.
they say. Hey, we're making Birds of Prey, but then this is added into the mix to obviously show that it's definitely a Harley Quinn story first and
Right.
foremost, you
Yeah.
know. And I completely agree with you when you say, yeah, this is a Harley Quinn movie for all intents and purposes.
Sure. Oh yeah, I mean 100%. I mean, it's her narration, it's her depiction of the events that happened in this movie. So yeah, I think it would have been better off having Harley Quinn as the big words, and then colon
Hmm.
Birds of Prey. I think that's first of all would have fared better advertising wise. And because I mean, that's a huge name. I think everyone loved her in Suicide Squad. No matter what you thought of Suicide Squad, she was
Hmm.
definitely a standout. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely a character that people gravitated towards, not just in, I mean, a lot of it I feel had to do with their look, because you see how much that look influenced the fans in terms of
Sure.
cosplay, in terms of what they would wear, in terms of them
Yep.
dyeing their hair and everything, so I feel the look definitely had a lot to do with it, but that casting makes so much sense, especially
Yeah.
when you watch something like The Wolf on Wall Street with her in it, where
Right.
I felt like that was such a great indicator of her playing that character. If you look at what goes on in the animated series that she was introduced in, Batman the
Yeah.
animated series, there's an episode called Mad Love, very similar to some of the most tension-filled scenes with Leo.
Right. And I when it was announced that she was cast, I thought it was a great choice because of obviously Wolf of Wall Street, and she was doing the New York accent, so like right away I just knew that like it was going to work, because I was obviously going off of the animated series, and
Mhm.
that's honestly all I know of Harley Quinn. I don't know much of the comics Harley Quinn wise. I
Right.
know, comics, like Batman and Superman and things like that, but like the offshoots, I'm not that well versed in. So yeah, all I had to go off of was who did her voice in the animated series?
Oh,
Do you
well,
have
there were
that?
two actresses. Well, the
Yeah,
more famous one is Tara Strong. I'm going to look
Sarah
up the other
Strong.
one.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean that's what I went off of. So yeah. Um, and
yeah.
yeah, that series still today I'll watch. It's terrific.
Well, I mean, it's definitely. I feel like it's her introduction. She was introduced as kind of like this jokey type character, this kind of foil to the Joker's plan, the
Right.
Bonnie to his Clyde, as it were. And this Bruce Timm creation. She's iconic almost instantly because of her look and because of her tragic story, a story that's actually pretty shocking
Yeah.
for a cartoon aimed for kids. You
Yeah.
know, you've I'm sure you've seen the episode Mad Love, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What,
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about that episode? I mean, good goodness, good goodness.
I mean, it's you got the man, I wish you had me rewatch the episode. It's been a while, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's tragic. It totally highlights who she is, and what she's willing to do, you know. And it's a great episode.
It's
Sorry,
incredible.
I wasn't
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to show a quick photo real quick because
yeah.
we were just talking about the animated series Harley Quinn. It was Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong who voiced that character.
Yes.
And it's iconic. Both of them do incredible jobs as the character. It's their character for a lot of,
Definitely. Yeah. It's that just that unique voice she had in it. It just made her totally stand out. And it's just it's just such a unique character, and someone to it's hard to top the Joker and everything, and like keep up with him as a character. The phenomenal job that's Mark Hamill did with him, and and she was able to totally hold her own with him. So just incredible. So what can you tell me about her in the comics? What happened to her in the comics after that?
Well, it was kind of I feel like what happened was definitely the writers adding on to the darkness of her character, and also kind of making her more at certain points she was more kind of exploitive, especially with what she would wear, but there were other runs where it just focused more on the goofiness where it's like, okay, we did the darkness, now we just want to have her be in fun little B stories with like King Shark. A lot of what the comics written by Jimmy Palmiotti, I believe his name is, I think influenced that Harley Quinn show that we got on DC Universe.
Right.
Which I really like, actually. I really like that show. I don't know. Have you seen any of it?
What's it called?
It's called Harley Quinn, the animated show.
Oh, that one. No, I keep meaning to check it out, but no, Disney definitely didn't put it out because I've read things about it. Yeah, it's
that would be awesome.
Exactly, but no, I haven't checked it out yet. I need to.
Well, I completely recommend it, especially if something like Birds of Prey wasn't your bag. I feel like this is much more of the kind of Seinfeld-esque humor with super violent, just graphic scenes. Incredible. I love it.
Seinfeld with violence. That's a great selling point right there. I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Larry David to get a cameo. That would be freaking epic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me just check the notes because I had to prepare for you, my friend. I had to prepare.
I appreciate that. I did zero preparation.
Oh,
just kidding. Man. No,
I didn't even watch the movie. What the heck is it? So the first
I didn't see any birds.
Shot them all down.
Yeah.
So when Birds of Prey was announced as a film, when you first heard about it, what was your reaction? Did you know anything about these characters? What were your first thoughts?
So no, I didn't know anything about them. Like I said, Harley Quinn from the Batman animated series is all I knew about Harley Quinn, and then obviously Suicide Squad. There's a moment that happens at the end, which I'm sure we'll talk about, that I was shocked by. It's I was excited for it, but again, I was. It just goes back to the title. It should have been called Harley Quinn because, it being called Birds of Prey made me think like, they're going to veer off from her. Like, it's not going to be that interesting. But it doesn't. I mean, she's obviously the lead, and it's her story. And Birds of Prey is just kind of, how it gets formed. But I was excited that we were going to get this character again.
Yeah. She's definitely center stage. This does work as a Harley Quinn film, especially with when you look at the opening and you have the interludes and you have the monologues and everything. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
the bizarre storytelling that mimics her personality, where it's very just staticky and it's all over the place and everything. So I agree completely that it would have benefited if they did not call this first and foremost Birds of Prey, because what the
Right.
thing is, when you call it that, comic fans are going to expect that, you know. And when it focuses so much on Harley Quinn for what, like the first 40 minutes, then
Right. Yeah.
all these other characters start to be introduced slowly.
Yeah.
It does
And
make you think. Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, please.
the reason I say, it could have done better. I'm not sure if this is just domestic, but looking at all the DCEU movies, I'm not sure if you were going to talk about this, but box office wise,
Mhm.
it comes in at number 8 with 84 million. I believe that's domestic. So yeah, it comes in at number 8 there, and you have 84 million. Shazam's number 7 with 140 million.
Damn.
So almost double what Birds of Prey, made. And I don't think it has anything to do with it being female driven or anything, because
Right.
Wonder Woman's number 1. Wonder
Right.
Woman's 412 million. So
Literally has woman in the title.
yeah, exactly. But when people see, oh, it's Birds of Prey, like they're just like, what is this? I don't know what this is. And so yeah, I know I'm just keep hitting it, with
Change
the hammer.
the title. Come on.
Exactly, change the title.
Can we retcon this?
Yeah, man, I could have made so much money if they had me in that room.
let's just crisis this title, okay?
Yes.
Just reboot it.
Exactly, and yeah, you'll gain so much more money thanks to me and Julius.
I'll just be there with the hat collecting donations. So the Birds of Prey, we got to talk about where they came from, man. And they came in 1996 of June, I believe. Black Canary, Oracle, the Birds of Prey. Black Canary is obviously featured in the film. She's not the blonde kind of showgirl that we know. She's a Latina singer in it, so that's obviously a retcon, as it were. She's much darker. She has much more grit to her. She's much more violent. She curses, and okay, that's cool. Oracle, who is Oracle? Well, Oracle in these Batman comics was once Batgirl until she was crippled by the Joker in The Killing Joke. When she was shot right through the spine, then she was in a wheelchair. The only superhero work she could do was from, as Ned Leeds would put it, the guy or gal in the chair,
Yeah,
So
right.
she's basically running the operation at home on it, with Siri in the background, her iPads all over the place. So this is where it started. Some situations require a woman's touch. So this is obviously, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
I don't even know who these fools are. These
they're just faceless dudes that she's kicking in the face. Weird that they're faceless and she's kicking them in the face. But I assume there was crossovers and stuff with these comics with Batman and everything, and I assume they run into him.
Yeah,
a few times. Am I jumping ahead? I'm sorry.
Oh no, please. This is definitely a team that started off very obscure and then did grow, especially as more characters were brought on. I believe, yeah, here we are. So we have, as we see, a different lineup here when it comes to Birds of Prey. There's Batgirl, there's Katana, Poison Ivy's there, Black Canary is there, and so on and so on. We had the Huntress join the team, who is featured in the film, along with Renee Montoya, who is played by Rosie Perez in the film. And that character actually does become a superhero later, The Question. So this became a much more popular idea once it found its way, So when you look at these characters, right, you see who's featured in this, and you see who's featured in this. Is there anything that feels like it's missing, or maybe you wish you saw a different character, maybe a character in this film that didn't work for you wish was replaced?
Uh, I don't know if it was just the acting choice.
Hmm.
Rosie Perez's character Renee Montoya didn't do much for me.
Hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of shoehorned in there that she kind of joined the group. For me, it felt that way. But as a group, yeah, I think they were strong. I mean, the girl, the girl that essentially had the diamond, I forget
Oh yeah.
her name. But uh,
Hmm.
was she part of the comic, or is that just something that was added for the
I
movie?
I gotta be honest. I'm not. I
Okay.
believe this is the girl who grows up to be the Japanese or Asian Batgirl, because there is
Okay.
an Asian Batgirl, and I believe this character does grow up to be her. But I'm
Okay.
not super familiar with that version of Batgirl. I'm more of a Barbara Gordon fan. Um,
Yeah.
do you think this would have worked better if they had replaced? Let's say they didn't do the Harley Quinn thing, but they did do Batgirl in this. Do you think that would have worked better?
I don't know because I don't know what they were going for here because
Right.
you had Suicide Squad. It's about a group of criminals essentially that they send
Hmm.
in to save the day. Here, everything kind of just happens by accident, and then they form this group that I assume fights crime now. Like, I mean, is that did the comics tie in at all with the Birds of Prey comic? Did that tie in at all with the Suicide comics?
Well, I honestly think that they put Harley Quinn in there because she was very popular in Suicide Squad. And
Yeah.
also, this was a film that was female driven, and okay, so you just think about characters on the underground Gotham, crime area. Okay, who
Right.
could fit there? Harley Quinn. Okay, Harley Quinn. Well, she's got to be the star of the film. Who do we
Right.
have?
Yeah.
The Birds of Prey is the team we own. Uh, so I feel like they were just doing a very loose adaptation of what people knew in the comics.
Sure. Yeah. 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 It's it, because I think if you put Batgirl in this movie, I think that would have been totally distracting. Would have took away from Harley Quinn and everything. So I'm
Mhm.
glad they didn't do that because I believe aren't they having a Batgirl movie or she was
I don't
cast or
know,
something?
actually. I heard that
Okay. Well,
announcement
breaking
years
news.
ago.
Yeah.
By me.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes true. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting how they were formed and everything. I think having Batgirl in it was, or not having Batgirl in it was a wise choice. But yeah, I mean the other characters I think held their own. You
Mhm.
got Canary and
The
uh
Huntress.
the Huntress, thank you.
Yeah.
And I thought those were strong characters to have. But yeah,
Mhm.
not knowing much about the comics, I was just looking for a fun movie.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
what sorry, yeah, I'll
No,
let
no,
you
please.
lead.
I wasn't
No, I
gonna
was
say
just gonna
anything.
say what's so Ewan McGregor's in this and he plays
Oh,
Roman
yeah.
Sionis.
Mhm.
What was he their villain in the comics?
Well, the Black Mask character is definitely more of a Batman villain, but I feel like and the comics even do this at times. Batman has such a big and great rogues gallery that
Yeah.
sometimes DC's just like, okay, you know what? Let's just move him to this book because
Yeah.
that'll definitely sell this book. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it could work. They're in Gotham also. So Black Mask in terms of this, um, uh, yeah. I mean, I don't. I got to be honest with you, Ben. I have not read many Birds of Prey comics. I'm
Uh,
familiar with
fine.
them peripherally. Um, and
I prefer you not be honest. I want you to just you could make up something and I would take it in and be like, oh wow, really? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Roman, he did that to Harley Quinn, man. Oh, that's crazy, Julius.
he appeared first in Spider-Man issue 45, and
I would have been like, oh, cool,
wow,
even though that's a totally different property, but
DC bought the rights, and then
Just for that one issue.
just for this one character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Black Mask was definitely, I would say, a smart choice to have as an antagonist
Yeah.
in terms of this film, especially since he is. What's interesting is that they went in a different direction in terms of his sexuality, which has never really been a key factor for the character. He's just been more of this like gangster. But
Sure.
it's very clear that the guy's gay, but he is also like a misogynist. He feels this
Right.
ownership over people. And did you feel that was a good foil against this team?
Yeah. Well, yeah, first of all, it made him unpredictable because I mean, I don't think it was. I mean, yeah, we assume he was gay, but I don't think it was ever fully confirmed. So it kind of left that,
more insinuated, I would say.
Yeah, exactly, and it just just made him more unpredictable and like made more mystery to him. But yeah, I thought he was good. Just Ewan McGregor as an actor, in this, I thought was fantastic. I thought he did a fantastic job. I laughed when I hope I was supposed to laugh. I thought he was funny in this. And I love the part where he's like showing Canary the shrunken head, and he's like, look at the little ears, ew. He was very eccentric and interesting. He made interesting choices, and yeah, I thought he was great as a character. Now that I'm thinking about it, back to you saying, is he a good like foe or whatever, they could have put probably anyone in, would have been the same. But yeah, I liked his little quirkiness and his the quirky things he did. I enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely really eccentric. I don't know if I've ever seen Ewan McGregor act that bombastic. I'm not even in like Train Spotting,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, even in that, yeah, he's was more subdued,
yeah,
in a way. But yeah, I thought I enjoyed his character a lot. Whenever he was on screen, I was like, oh, what's he gonna do next? Like, I was excited. So
maybe it's just me, but he reminded me a little bit of how Freddie Mercury would act on stage during performances when Queen was going around and playing, because Freddie Mercury was obviously someone who used the stage to get the crowd revved up. He played with the crowd. He took his shirt off. He wore the crazy clothes and everything. I felt he had very much of a performer vibe in this.
Yeah, he was definitely, he performed, and like he never did like the dirty work. He was just there, as he had his own muscle and everything. Like when he's cutting people's faces off, it's he's letting someone else do it, and eating popcorn while they're doing it. So but yeah, he's definitely was a performer, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, one thing we should probably talk about is the premise of this film. Obviously, it is about Harley Quinn, as we said. Harley Quinn has recently left the Joker, as we saw him in Suicide Squad, and gone off to make a name for herself in the criminal underworld of Gotham. However, once doing this, she is hunted down by vigilantes, police, and the dreaded mob boss, Black Mask. So, based on that, I thought, okay, that sounds pretty fun, actually. Her on the run, being chased by everyone. She does get herself into a lot of trouble like this usually. So, yeah, that sounds really cool. I like that they're bringing in different vigilantes, different cops, different heroes and villains and everything. It seems like it would work perfectly. Did it work? I'm not gonna say perfectly because I already know, but what about it did work for you?
Well, I mean, the idea behind it, that she's broken up with Joker now, so all these people who, she normally would have been protected by are now after her because, hey, Joker's not around, let's get her. She got me good. But it got a little convoluted as it went on. It was almost a little too much, too much, especially in that one scene when she's running with her sandwich or whatever, it's just like everyone was just after her. It was just like, all right. Like I said, I liked the premise. It's just, yeah, I think they could have executed it a little better. How about you?
I remember when watching it, and I've only watched it once.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying it enough. I felt
Yeah.
like when certain characters were introduced, it did make sense. But I do agree that, for example, with Renee Montoya,
Mhm.
they introduce her, and I believe they kind of rewind the film because Harley Quinn is the narrator of the film. So
Yeah.
it's like, wait, let's go back so
Yeah.
we can add all this other story to it. And I could understand how that could be convoluted rather than just coming at a natural progression. I do
Sure. Yeah.
I do get that completely. But when it came to the characters bantering, um, for the most part, I enjoyed that. There were some gags in it that I thought could have been cut, like this
Right.
huntress trying to get the line down. I was like, okay, I that's funny, but aren't you like this really like this darker character? This feels like Luke telling jokes in Last Jedi. Uh,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah, but yeah, they needed more menacing characters, I think.
mhm.
I mean, yeah, it was fun and funny, at points. But yeah, I think they needed more menacing moments. Like for instance, one menacing moment that was great, I thought, was when Ewan McGregor thought the chick was laughing at him in the club, and makes her take off his stand on the table, take off her dress, makes the guy cut it off. Like, I thought that was menacing. I was like, okay, no, like I didn't see him as more a menacing guy, but now I get it. Now I get it. But yeah, I mean, one thing this movie is, I mean, it's you can't say that it's not entertaining. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
easy watch. I think it's kind
Mhm.
of flew by. I think it hour 48-minute runtime or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can obviously critique a lot of it, but entertainment wise, I think it's up there. It's you
Yeah.
you're not bored.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I was bored either. I think that there's plenty planted throughout it, that is entertaining enough. One thing that I really thought worked, and I'm actually going to pull it up right now. I really enjoyed this, under the preconceived notion. Okay, this is a Harley Quinn story, so I'm okay with it. Was the animated opening.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really fun and clever way of introducing not only Harley Quinn to the audience, but also the elephant in the room of Jared Leto's Joker.
Right.
you know,
Exactly. Yep.
After Suicide Squad, it was very clear that he was not beloved as many
Right.
others before and after were, instantly. So they make a little, they don't take it too seriously. They make a couple jokes. They
Right.
homage a bunch of different eras of film. I mean, this feels like something straight out of like a Gene Kelly film. you
Yeah,
know,
definitely. And it's actually as fun and funny as it is, it's informative too, because you find out, before she was a psychiatrist, she went to this like Catholic school or something, or
mhm.
and had trouble there. And you understand that she was a little crazy before Joker came around.
Yeah,
He just needed that push from him. People just need a little push to take from Heath Ledger's Joker. So
yeah.
it's so yeah, it was informative and fun.
Well, I love that you brought up that they established that she had something a little bit wrong with her beforehand, because I feel like that is definitely a very real, part of the relationship. One
Right.
thing about Suicide Squad that was for me a bit very disappointing was the way that the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn was depicted, where they were lovers essentially in that, rather than an abuser and the person being abused. Uh,
Right.
and I'm not saying I want that just to say, oh yeah, that's, but I feel like it's important to draw that line between, romanticizing something and
Right.
depicting it. So how do you feel about the Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship, that we've seen so far, including with this.
Well, I feel like we didn't get enough of it,
Right.
to make that judgment. And obviously Jared Leto's Joker. I think, first of all, he didn't get enough screen time
Hmm.
because I think people made judgments on him, and there wasn't enough to judge for me. I think if he would have gotten a little more screen time, I think I wanted more.
Right.
I'm not saying it was a masterful performance and there's problems I had with it, but I wanted to see more because I felt like he was barely in it. Like, I want to see what more he could do. So yeah, I don't feel like we really got much of their relationship ever. And this movie kind of, goes into it a little bit more. But yeah, you want to see why, they're in love, and you want to see that, because otherwise it's like there's no emotion, there's no connection that you
Yeah.
feel as a viewer.
Yeah. And I was definitely, I remember when those trailers came out, um, for this film, Birds of Prey, and
Yeah.
they really led everyone to believe, damn, Harley Quinn like killed the Joker. She like had enough of his
Right.
shit. Because you have a trailer where it's that scene where she's driving this truck into Ace Chemicals, and then it
Yeah.
explodes, and over the narration it says, "Yeah, we broke up," and I'm like, man, that would have been hysterical. I think that would have been hysterical. They do not go in that direction,
No.
clearly, because it probably would have been a bit too mean spirited.
Right. Yeah. A little
It would
bit.
have been
A little
just a
bit.
bit much.
Yeah.
There's poking fun at yourself in the Spider-Verse way, where you have at the very beginning,
Yep.
Peter dancing, in the middle of the
Uh,
street, Spider-Man 3 style. But
yeah.
then that would have just been a complete like this to, all
Yeah.
right, bye.
Yeah.
um,
you're out of here, Leto.
you're out, but he's back. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see what he's made of.
Hmm.
Very quick, Ben. What do you think about him coming back for Justice League? Do you think he will redeem himself in this?
I don't.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, and that's my answer. I'm not going to elaborate. No. Uh, I I want him to,
Mhm.
but I don't. To me, I think it's just going to be a dream sequence similar to the Batman v Superman dream sequence he had with all those creatures flying around and everything.
Right.
Especially because the tattoos are gone. I don't think that's a retcon. I think that's just Batman now imagining him, or it could be a flashback. I don't know. I'm excited that he is coming back. I love Joker, the character as a whole.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what he does. But redemption wise, I don't know. I don't think that's Snyder's job. I think
Mhm.
there's his whole release the Ayer cut. That's his name, right?
Yeah,
Ayer.
David Ayer. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, he says there's so much more footage of Joker and so much more, and that his movie was never seen. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't think Snyder, first of all, I don't think we should be mad at him if he doesn't redeem him, which
Mhm.
again, redeem is it wasn't terrible. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think? What do you think he'll redeem? The Joker will be redeemed.
Well, I definitely hope that the Joker is in the film for a reason more
More than fan
reasonable
service.
than just fan service. Exactly.
Right.
I
Yeah.
worry about the Joker's inclusion along with something like Deathstroke and Lex Luthor and Martian
Right.
Manhunter and all this stuff that sounds great and cool and everything. Like I'm curious how it's going to look. I've never had a problem with the way that Zack Snyder has made things look, like costume, cinematography, lighting. I think he's very talented at that. It's just the story I think has to be put first before that.
Yeah.
Some scenes in Batman versus Superman where they tease, the nightmare stuff, the flash scenes, I feel like they could be cut out of the film, and it could actually strengthen the narrative, I do think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that stuff is there primarily to get fans excited, which is cool,
Yeah.
but the story has to come first, I think. And
Sure.
that's how I feel about the Joker in this. But when I heard that "we live in a society" line, I was like, the memes are real.
They worked. I mean, so what do you think about the tattoo being gone? So do you think it's just a vision, or like a retcon or a flashback?
I think that's as reactionary as that trailer for Birds of Prey was like, yeah, we broke up. You know?
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I don't know, actually. I feel maybe he got like a laser removal surgery in the apocalypse.
Yeah,
Maybe
totally.
he
Yeah.
bleached himself again. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just use some cover up to get the face tattoos off. Who knows? We don't know. We'll know on March 18th, right?
March 18th is the day, son. I hope we
Yeah,
get.
I have a feeling he's not going to get much screen time, but we'll see. I mean, it's 4 hour movie. He better get at least,
It's
10,
something.
15 minutes, 20.
Something with Ben Affleck, right? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, back to Birds of Prey. One thing I have to say about Birds of Prey is this is pretty much a Harley Quinn movie, as we established, and it was
Well, yeah.
criticized for this, almost devaluing the idea of this team to showcase Quinn. A lot of fans of this comic were saying, "Hey, man, you're almost using my team that I really care about as like a boat to lift this one character." Um, do you think that was the case with the film?
I think it's the other way around. I think they used Harley Quinn to lift up those characters and to showcase. I mean, you see at the end, she's not with them.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
just
she
them.
leaves.
So for me, if anything, it's Harley Quinn is the one that's saying like, "Hey, here's Birds of Prey. If you haven't checked them out, check them out because they're a good comic." And all this.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you is, are you one who how do I want to put this? Do you not like when comic films go away from the comic, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I've loved things. I've loved specific films because they were so faithful, and I've loved others because they weren't as faithful.
Yeah.
I feel it all has to do with the take. Like, this is going to be a hot take, but I appreciate the reveal that they did in Iron Man 3 regarding the Mandarin. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I felt that it worked in that story, and I felt like a wizard with these magic space rings would have been a bit out of place in that film.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
The MCU wasn't ready for it at that point.
not yet, not
Yeah.
yet. We
Yeah.
saw some cool stuff with Iron Man versus magic in
Yep,
Infinity War. So it's like
that's true.
redeemed.
Yeah.
Marvel just did it again.
Yep.
Um, Honestly, any interpretation is fine with me.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff they're adapting isn't like Civil War, for instance. The Marvel comic Civil War is an iconic book, but I don't think it's Marvel's best by any means.
Yeah.
I think a lot of comic fans will
Best
tell
movie
you
or best comic?
the comic I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love the film, but I
Yeah.
think the comic, it's known for what happens in it, but I
Right.
don't think comic fans will defend it as like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, this is the best book Marvel has to offer. I mean, there's been a lot of critiques over it. Like, you wrote characters in ways that were drastically different from their characters. Like Tony Stark is like a villain in that book.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm cool with them taking something and then improving upon it in a film context. How about you? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I just want to see a good movie.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. If they don't do what's in the comic, like, I mean, obviously, Silver Surfer was a huge part of Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Obviously, they didn't have the rights yet, so I was a little weary of how they were going to do it, but they had to do it somehow without him, and it worked. It's not. I don't. Again, I'm looking for a good movie. I'm not. It's not going to ruin the experience for me.
I agree.
Because people go in expecting this because it happened in the comic. But so if it doesn't happen, that means it was bad. But no, if it's something I'm not expecting, like, that's when I can sit down, analyze, and be like, okay, let's see how this worked. And at the same time, there's things in written form and illustrations that you might not be able to pull off in a movie. It might look too cheesy or too you can't do it, and
Right.
vice versa. So it's you got to tell the best story for a movie that works for a movie. For me,
Agreed. I mean, one of the best examples, I think, and one of the most award-winning examples in recent memory is Joker. Like
Mhm.
just a completely original idea, obviously taking all these different inspirations from comic lore, but it's focused on the story of Arthur Fleck. How does he become the Joker?
Yep.
And what do we get excited about afterwards, right? Like
Yeah.
and it's what's funny is that people have said, oh, well, that's not really a Joker film. It's like, what? It has the Batman origin in it at the very end.
Exactly. Like,
who was it then?
Yeah. On top of it, it was just a great film. Like, it was just, about a guy that's just, lonely and, is distraught and is given up on society and, just has had it. And
society.
Yeah. We live in a society, and so, I mean, it's a great film, first of all. And, again, Joker, again, it's been, it's beating a dead horse, but Joker doesn't have a clear-cut origin. He doesn't have, the comics are iffy about that, and so should the movies. It's
absolutely,
that's the kind of character he is.
I mean, I recently got that on Blu-ray. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So it's a fact that it's great. All right, thank you.
Yes, 100%. Yep. You got it on Blu-ray. That means it's great. Yep.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I also have Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star, but we don't worry about that.
Masterpiece.
What's the name of Happy Gilmore? Happy Gilmore, is that the production company?
That's a golf movie from 1996. No, Happy Madison.
Happy Madison. That's what it's called. Yeah, you've done it again, Bucky Larson. Okay, so Ben, you do this thing on your channel where you analyze certain films, where you have a special guest on, and you just talk about a movie that both of you love or both of you feel differently about.
Right.
One of the films is Man of Steel, a part of our journey here, the beginning of this journey, as it were. Let's say you decided to talk about Birds of Prey, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, I want to talk about Birds of Prey. Who's someone you'd want to talk about it with? Because you have really great guests on.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a great question. You? But we already are. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a fake scenario, but I don't know.
Because it'll never happen.
Yeah. The guest has to approve it, first of all. Right. I mean, obviously, the Kevin Smiths of the world, someone like that, or like someone that's I don't have a
specific
person
like
in mind.
Oswald.
Yeah, someone that Patton Oswalt. I mean, even seriously, I mean, it's someone that I know is into comics, and but also someone that I that I know will be honest about it, and be objective and all that. But yeah, a specific person. Kevin Smith is the only person I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm talking to Julius right now about it on the Goat Movie Podcast. So,
well, you know what? If that ever does happen, you talk about the odds of it are universal. But if you ever did on your channel get to talk about Birds of Prey with Kevin Smith, that would be incredible. I'd be so happy about it. But I would also expect 10%.
Yeah, well, naturally, yes.
Naturally, of course. One thing I wanted to bring up as well was a part that I really loved, and I wanted to get your opinion on this film, was the very quick interlude with the musical number. I think it's when she becomes high on cocaine during the shootout. How did you feel about this?
This actually, I think this is right when she got slapped really hard by
okay.
So she was kind of
I was thinking
doozy
something else.
right here. But yeah, no, that scene where she the cocaine scene was great. But this it's like, I love when movies, you know, are artistic and go off and like do something that's totally out of the norm and like takes you somewhere else. This point of the movie, I was just kind of, it threw me off, and I was just it didn't work for me. It did not work for me. I can't really trying to articulate why, but
Was it that it didn't fit within that context of the
ish,
story?
but it just I don't know what it was. It just at that moment, it didn't feel like the right time to, you know, to jump to that for me. I don't know. It just, yeah, I was just kind of weirded out by it. And again, and I love when films do things like this, but this film, I don't know, just didn't feel like it fit the theme. If there is any. How about you?
Well, I enjoy these pieces, like the animated opening, the musical number. That shootout scene is pretty funny. I enjoy those when thinking about them one at a time. This did feel kind of, especially now that you reminded me, okay, it wasn't the cocaine scene. It was when she's being interrogated, which obviously you see the masks in the background. That makes complete sense. It felt very like Family Guy-esque, you know, the way they cut to it, you know? And obviously Seth MacFarlane has a love for show tunes, and this is something that they would completely pull on that show.
Definitely. It's so weird. That picture you have up right now, I like, every time I look, I'm like, Lady Gaga's in this? Like, that looks exactly like Lady Gaga at that angle for some reason. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's but yeah, it just definitely Family Guy-esque. You know, just very random. And again, I like artsy things in movies. This was less than artsy. It was just kind of,
it's kind of there for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I gotta say that I did appreciate the production when it came to the choreography, the color, the cinematography. I really just like, I could probably look at that single moment and be like, damn, that was good, you know?
I mean, I mean, all of this movie, the aesthetically, it's a great movie. Like you said before the show, trying to match the colors right now. Like, I love the colors in this movie. Same with Suicide Squad and everything. Like, it's just so pleasing to the eye. You know, it's you know, especially when she, I think, was it when she blew up the acid place, Ace Chemical? Just some great visuals there. And then when she comes into the police station and starts shooting up with the confetti and everything, and I thought that looked amazing with you had like blue and red smoke coming in. I thought, just aesthetically, this movie is very pleasing.
Well, that's something that's actually not brought up as much, because I feel like when it comes to the DCEU in terms of visuals, people are automatically going to bring up Zack Snyder's visual, you know, style within Man of Steel, within BVS, and even the Snyder Cut. This I felt was very strong in terms of the way it used color, in terms of the way the camera worked and everything, and it makes sense for the craziness of the main character for it to be as saturated as it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest, though. When people bring up CGI and DCEU, they're going to bring up Henry Cavill's mustache. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I always get confused when it comes to the Cavill mustache, because I always expect, okay, wait, is it going to be in the Snyder Cut or not? Is he going to be shaved? What is happening there? No, that's true. You're completely right.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, but yeah, I mean, these Suicide Squad, this just has great visuals. I would even Shazam comes to mind too. That had good ones.
Wonder Woman, I thought, had some pretty strong ones.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of that scene with the shootout, I don't know when, or the shootout in the jail when she's trying to get the girl with the diamond, and she just starts shooting beanbags at them and confetti goes everywhere when she shoots. I don't know when they decided this was going to be R, but I felt like this scene was like for if it was going to be PG-13, like
that makes complete sense.
There was no blood. It was just confetti that came out. It was and it was bean bags, not bullets. So yeah, I was wondering like if when they decided it was going to be R, and that leads me to think not only the name hurt this movie, but the rating I think could have hurt this movie as well. I mean, I think if it was PG-13, more people could have brought, it's a female-driven movie. More people would have brought their daughters or something to see, some girls kick some ass. But so yeah, I think that's another thing that might have hurt this movie financially.
Oh well, you know what? That's a great segue to my next point was that it's kind of a loose connection to the Snyder Cut and also BVS, where this was the first theatrical release in the DCEU that was an R-rated film. Obviously, with the Ultimate Cut, you got the straight-to-home R-rated cut, obviously. But this was the one that was released in theaters and said, okay, this is going to be balls to the wall, R-rated, people cursing, insane violence, all that. And you mentioned how you thought it hurt the film financially, but do you think it hurt it creatively?
Creatively, no. That's a good question, actually. Now that I'll stop, answering right away. That's a good question, because there's not that much gore and violence. Like there's that one scene where he cut off the face. I think, if they didn't actually show him cut it and he just kind of walks away with a face like in the background, that might have been PG-13. Like they might have got away with that. So that's one scene that comes to mind. And then the profanity. That's, because I mean that end scene when they're, you could tell a lot of the blood was just CGI'd in. When they're all of them team up and are just fighting faceless men. That's in every PG-13 action movie. So if you enjoy profanity more in your movies, then yes, it helped it. If not, I think it could have got away with being PG-13, because I mean, Suicide Squad was PG-13, not that was revered by critics or anything, but it made more money than this did. And so for me, I was fine with it. Like I thought it was cool, big deal, it was no big deal. Yeah, exactly. Like I could have gone either or. What do you think?
Honestly, the R rating was kind of at the back of my head when it came to that. Obviously, there's the cursing. It is a bit jarring at first for just to hear that amount and to think, okay, this is in the same world as Shazam. Oh no, not Shazam. No. But I feel like I kind of let that go a while ago, because my first break into the F word is in comic book movies, probably with the X-Men films, honestly, because they got the quota. Okay, you get one each film and you retain your PG-13 rating. Started with First Class when Wolverine dropped the freaking F-bomb. And I was like, what the?
They can do that?
He said that? Where was that in Origins, dude?
Exactly.
Then it just continued and continued.
Yeah, I mean, it totally serves Logan, and I know we're talking Marvel now. Like Logan, R rating, I think only helped the movie for me.
Logan is phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, able to be as brutal as they wanted, and and that didn't hurt the movie critically or financially. And again, I think the R rating in Birds of Prey hurt it more than it helped it. I wonder. I mean, this came out October was Joker. This came out the next February. Yeah,
last year.
So I wonder, if they probably had filmed a lot by the time they found out Joker was so successful. So I was wondering, maybe they changed it to R because it's it's more popular. But probably not.
This is the new direction for these things.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Well, I feel like this was definitely, I mean, you brought up Logan. I feel like this was definitely influenced by what was done with Deadpool and Deadpool 2. You know, like
Yeah.
Deadpool was definitely a movie that really showed that R-rated comic book films could be sold.
Right.
Blade obviously came out like a decade plus before, but I think Deadpool was just the one that's like, okay, we can go insane. Uh, Kick-Ass
Yeah,
was kind of like a
exactly.
starter, like kind of like a tease to where we were going
Yep.
with Deadpool, and Deadpool made money, and it got a
Yep.
sequel, and it's going into the MCU and everything.
Yep.
So why not try something like as cartoony as that with our characters, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it definitely, yeah. Again, if it was called Harley Quinn and rated R, it would have been fine. So
Probably
if
would
they
have made
could
more
do that,
money, honestly.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. See, Ben knows, but
Yeah, would have been the same movie, but just would have made more money.
DC, look, Ben has been keeping his pocket change in a jar since he was 12. Okay,
That's
he
right.
knows how to he knows how to get money.
I wish that were true.
So this will be the last point. I'm sorry, Ben. Okay, this is the last point we got to bring up because the show is going to be coming to a close. We're ending. We're
Oh.
ending. But this is the last one. I know. It's been fun, man. But you're on that Florida time. I don't want to
I know,
keep you
man.
away
It's
too
like
long.
bedtime over here. It's almost 6 o'clock in the evening.
Wait, let me get
Ungodly
that
hour.
seltzer. Man, knock out. Okay, so here's the thing, right? We're on our way to the Snyder Cut. As this video comes out, it's only days away.
Yep.
Whether it be good or bad, it will change the direction of the DCEU. I believe. I believe this. The hype is insane. It's a different type of event film. Uh, Everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. It will
Right.
change everything, I believe. So when it comes to Birds of Prey, right? A movie
Mm.
that was released R-rated, it did have a lot of critical, responses that varied. Where do you think that will fall in terms of the legacy of this franchise?
Oh man, great question. Yeah, I mean, there's such high expectations for it
Yeah.
that if it's not what most of these fans are expecting, me included, no, I mean, I won't care either way. But if it's not like I was saying earlier about if it's not what they expected 100%, then they don't like it, instead of it just being someone else's different idea. So they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna accept this idea and process it and see how it goes.
Mhm.
So I think it will have a huge impact, whether it be negative or positive. If it's amazing, I think faith will be restored in the whole DCEU. That's what we're calling it, right? DCEU. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Yeah. But if it's negative, yeah, I think it could really hurt it. I think it's a mess already. I mean, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm super excited for Matt Reeves' Batman and excited
Oh
for
yeah.
Robert Pattinson being Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Mhm.
It's like, it's so confusing for like just the casual moviegoer. Like, it's like,
Right.
again, like the Joker, like that's like, I love that movie, but it's
Mhm.
like not part of this. Matt Reeves' Batman is not part of this. So it's, I don't know. I mean, if it affects it positively, I still don't know where they go from there, though, because you lost Ben Affleck, you lost Henry Cavill.
Right.
It seems like Ray Fisher is kind of, I
Yeah,
don't
kind of
know.
done.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal with the Flash is anymore. Do we know what's going on with that movie? Do you know?
Well, all I know is are the announcements that they made
Yeah.
last summer and it was big. It was exciting, what they announced. Hey, man, Michael Keaton's coming back. Rumors of Nicolas Cage's
Oh
Superman.
yeah, that's right. That is for Flash. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, what are they doing? Like, yeah, that's cool. He's coming back, but like, what are they doing? Yeah. And didn't they say Keaton is going to be the Batman now? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's why I said earlier, DCU is a mess. I'd hate for them to start from scratch again, but it almost seems like they need to, or just keep doing one-offs. Do the Matt Reeves Batman, see where that goes. Do another villain origin story like Joker. It just I think they tried to keep up with Marvel. They've rushed expanded universe, cinematic universe, didn't work out. Cut your losses, see where you can go from here. So even if Justice League is great, which I hope it is, I said, I go into a movie wanting it to be good. I still don't necessarily think that saves the DCEU. Did any of that make sense?
No, it all made sense. I appreciate that you're being as rational as possible, because I think when it comes to the Snyder Cut specifically, so many fans are so emotionally invested in this because they felt like they got cheated last time, and they kind of did. They kind of did, with what they released. So for the amounts of cries and begging and hoping and praying that the Snyder fans had for the Snyder Cut, it's cool that they're getting it, and it's cool that everyone's getting it, and I hear that Zack Snyder's not getting any payment for doing this film, which I think is insane, unheard of, and kind of admirable, that's how he really cares about it, whether I like it, you like it, that person likes it or not, right?
Exactly.
So man, I'm just hoping this changes the DCU in a very positive way, not just in terms of their business, but in terms of the way that fandom, I want them to stop being reactive. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it kind of goes in line to being reactive, and again trying to keep up with what other properties are doing and all that. It's I want good movies. I want good superhero movies, and Batman in particular. I'm very sad that Affleck won't be in it anymore, but I'm glad we get to see him again in Justice League. I assume are most of these most of what we're going to see in Justice League, I'm not sure if you have this information, but most of what we're going to see in the new Justice League or Zack Snyder's cut, is it just things left on the cutting room floor? Do you know how much actually was new footage was filmed?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, what's funny is that I don't know whether originally the original cut that he, had, quote unquote, was 4 hours, because I do know they were reshooting stuff with Jared Leto's Joker. Some people say that was the original intention to do, but obviously Zack Snyder suffered the tragedy he did, which got him out of that. And I don't know. I don't know, aside from this is all supposedly what he had in plan from the ending of Man of Steel to BVS to where we are now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to say the least. March 18th, it's going to be an event. It's going to be you're going to see things trending all over Twitter. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be crazy, but yeah.
My plea to fans is that this is my plea, okay? And I'm sure Ben shares the same sentiments. Whether you love the movie or whether you don't, relax.
Right, exactly.
Relax, okay? Just chill. It's a movie. It came out. We're good.
Yeah.
People are gonna love it. People are gonna hate it.
Yep.
Relax.
It's not the end of the world if it's terrible. It's it already sucked, so how much more?
That's right.
Could it suck, so
well, you say that, but it is 2 extra hours.
Oh man.
Again,
Oh,
I am hoping for the best. I am hoping for the best.
yes, absolutely,
I mean,
100%.
I thought that last trailer kicked ass, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was yeah, again, the Joker thing got me excited, even though he said, we live in a society. It's uh
Society.
yeah. For some reason I heard that was like the Joker scenes were the only new footage filmed, but I
Oh,
could be
really?
totally wrong. But yeah,
I
he
think
has
that
long
is,
hair.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
He
that
has
is true.
long hair, so I would assume that's when he was filming the little things with Denzel, because he has long hair in that. So I would assume it was around that
Mm,
time frame. So
mm.
I put weird things together like that. But
I
he has long
honestly
hair a
thought,
lot though, so I don't know.
I literally thought you meant like the little things in Justice League with Denzel.
Oh,
I was like, wait, what?
yeah.
Denzel's in this movie?
No,
Yes.
yeah. Yep,
Oh
he is.
man,
Oh yeah, that now that would, yeah, just get everyone on board 100%.
Denzel is as any like Denzel is like Denzel, and he
Yeah,
saves the day.
he is. Yeah, that's a great point you bring up, Julius. Denzel, in fact, is Denzel. You're right.
Okay,
So,
all right, it's
you
time to
got.
get you out of here. Uh, Ben, Blockbuster Mentality. What is the newest news for the channel? Is there anything you're working on that you can tease the audience with?
Yeah, we got a couple exciting guests on the horizon. I've been on a little bit of a break for the last few weeks, really.
Hmm.
But I'm getting back on it. Last episode I think was with Greg Proops from Whose Line Is It Anyway? But yeah, we got old episodes from Joel McHale's been on the show. Paul Walter Hauser recently had Stephen Tobolowsky, which, even if you don't know him, he's just an interesting guy to talk to. He was Ned Ryerson in Groundhog Day. He was in
Oh yeah.
he was Sammy Jenkins in Memento. But yeah, he was phenomenal to talk to. But yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be, yeah, just more celebrity slash guests coming on talking about their favorite movie, and it's an interesting way to get to know who you're a fan of more, even if you're not a fan of them. You like what they think about this piece of art definitely tells you something more about that person. So I think
Yeah.
that's the draw to our show. But yeah, just more guests are coming. I'm not going to confirm anything yet, but yeah, we got some exciting ones coming up.
You
So
don't want to give me that tease?
yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
One thing I really love about what you do in terms of it, because it is an interview, but it's coming from a completely different angle, and it's a
Right.
very creative angle. I remember you and I were talking about it with Angel a couple of months ago, where so many interviews are so much of the same answers, so many of the same
Yes.
questions,
Yeah.
and it feels like it's almost just for obviously the clicks, but to produce the same content. Or it's like
Exactly.
what you're doing is very unique in that these are actors, they watch movies. Obviously
Yeah.
that's why they got into the craft. So what are the movies that they like, and it
Right.
is a fantastic way to get to know someone, just in general.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, you don't want to hear the same, oh, what were your thoughts during this scene? How did you prepare for this movie? It's like you don't want to hear that over and over. They don't want to answer those questions over and over. But yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, podcasting or, YouTubing, it's a grind, you just you
Hmm.
keep going at it. I think we finally found our niche, whatever you want to call it. And
Your
it's
Nietzsche.
been, yeah, Nietzsche. There we go. We figured it out. And yeah, it's been working out. I just need to stop being lazy and start booking more guests. So
Well, one thing I love that you told me, and Angel, that I'm going to relate to the audience was you were telling us about how you got these guests, and it was very simple, and it's something that I think a lot of people need to take note of, is that you just asked, and
yes, yeah,
it's incredible the power of what asking can do. I mean, look,
it,
here we are talking.
it does not hurt to ask. I can, for you can contact publicists and whatnot, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to just ask on Twitter,
Mhm.
hey, would love to have you on the show. And sometimes bug them a little, I mean, don't be too annoying. Don't bug them every hour. Don't bug them every day. But, just, nudge them a little, don't be respectful, but yeah, it does not hurt to ask. I could email Robert De Niro's publicist right now. Not going to happen, but
Why not? What?
Doesn't hurt to ask.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. That's what he would say. But yeah,
maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit.
Little bit. Good stuff.
Oh man. Okay, so Blockbuster Mentality is where you can find my friend Benjamin here. I like that shirt. He's obviously. Do you have merch?
Rep. Yeah, I mean, we're on TeePublic. TeePublic, look for Blockbuster Mentality. We have shirt designs on there, different movie themed designs. So yeah, you can check us out there. And yeah, follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast. We're on Instagram now, trying to gain more traction on Instagram, which I hear is a good thing to do. So at Blockbuster Mentality. One of these days we'll get on Facebook. I just hate Facebook, but hey.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you'll get there to the point where it's like Facebook is going to have to be like, okay, we need to get these fools on. Let's stop spying on everyone.
Exactly.
Mark, you should get Mark Zuckerberg to talk about the Social Network on your show.
Oh, there we go. That now we're talking. But yeah, man, it's fun. And like I said, it's a grind. It's a grind. But hey, we're passionate about it, and it's just it's fun talking movies.
Of course. Well, that was fantastic. We talked about Birds of Prey. We had a great time. I had a great time with
that's what we talked about?
It was in and out. A little bit.
Little bit. We talked about a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on to this journey with me and the rest of our crew of listeners and audience members. This has been such a blast. Thank you so much.
Hey, it was my pleasure, man. Anytime.
That voice. That's a podcaster's voice right there.
Jealous.
I am Julius, and I am so glad that you guys listened. Please do all the YouTube regulars of sharing and subscribing and liking. But once you do subscribe, you will get us to our new goal of 10,000 subscribers. And at that point, we will make this Mark Zuckerberg social network discussion a reality. You understand?
Right. 10. That's awesome, man. Let's get you there. Come on.
Let's do it. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe and goodbye.